This is MLB The Show 22. We're here on Xbox Series X diving into this year's take on baseball simulation. So be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So this is the second year in a row that we've now received the show on Xbox, which is quite exciting, and another experience that debuted with Game Pass, which is kind of cool. And it seems as though the Game Pass kind of basically showcase of this game lasts a whole year. So I would expect by the time the next one comes out, this one will then be lapsing. So just keep that in mind. It's pretty cool. I don't normally talk about Game Pass in the reviews, but since it does seem to last the full year and actually does kind of cover, probably the time you'll be playing this one, I thought it was worth mentioning. So, what do we have here? A dynamic 4K resolution at 60 FPS with HDR support. You've got local play that goes up to 4. You got online that goes up to like 8. You've got a handful of different modes and ways to play. So this very much is similar to last year's version. The biggest changes that I can note right off the bat, at least I think this is a substantial feature, is that they've now added the Switch to the roster. That might sound odd to mention the Nintendo Switch, but with that actually comes full crossplay, cross progression, cross saves. So if you're playing it on Xbox, you get like a season thing going on. You can go over and play it on the PlayStation, have your stuff there, go to the Switch, carry over all your stuff. It's kind of cool that we have like a full experience kind of like set up and link your account, and then you can just enjoy the magic of MLB The Show across any of the platforms that you own it on. So I think that's pretty cool. If you're a big fan, it'd be kind of neat to play it on like a console and then, play it on the Switch as well, which is also a console, but you know what I mean, take it out on the go. So that's kind of like the big change this year, because I do understand that they are working on more platforms than ever. It's probably a lot of work. Past that, we have a brand new commentary system, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I love the new commentary. It's something like 40,000 plus lines of brand new like dialogue. We got 2 announcers. I believe they're from ESPN. Really, really well done. Great commentary. I think it adds a lot to the experience. I think it really does call the game well. It doesn't seem too repetitive for the audio. I quite like the new commentary. I think it's actually pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not necessarily the most intense and hardcore, I guess, of baseball fans, so I'm sure most people will let me know, but I personally feel that they did a pretty good job with this new upgrade. Like, it feels really dynamic, it feels like it gets the action well, and it doesn't like feel really repetitive. Like, you get some sports games where you're like, wow, this is repetitive dialogue over and over again. This one actually feels, like it gives you a lot. So the game also has a lot of different dynamic sliders. I think there was something like 9 or 10 different difficulty settings, and then dynamic tuning, and you can do difficulty scaling, and that's in regards to batting or pitching. So there's a lot of personalization options in regards to, making the game a little bit easier or a little bit harder depending on the type of player you are wanting to be. So this is a simulation game, like I mentioned. It's trying to be actual, authentic baseball with up-to-date rosters. So it has a pile of game modes. So again, like, the differences in the game aren't like super plentiful. They have touched up some of the modes a little bit with some feature changes here or there. Apparently the pitching and the hitting has been slightly adjusted as well. But it's not necessarily a year of like wildly different gameplay. This feels very much like last year's version of the show, which is fine because it was a pretty, it's great. It was a pretty good release. I mean, I think this year's is pretty good too. So we've got Road to the Show. Oh, and there's like a overall sort of character customization sort of thing you can do in the menus, which is kind of neat to kind of get your character going, because you get to make your own, player. You can kind of choose what kind of things you do. Road to the Show, where you basically make your way up. That's kind of like a dynasty type setup with your, character and whatnot. Diamond Dynasty, which is, I guess you would say, basically the equivalent of a card-based game. So if you've played, like, I always say Madden Ultimate Team, the FIFA Ultimate Team, you're building like a team with cards and stuff like that. So, pretty straightforward. March to October, that's where you're doing the grueling battle to October. And It's kind of like a quick jump into like a seasonal type thing. And then franchise mode, where you are kind of running a team. You're running your selected group. You are making your way through the challenges of regular season, multi-season stuff, franchise. Pretty straightforward, pretty down to basics. We've got the challenge of the week, moments, and those two are kind of like updated things occasionally, where you're getting new up-to-the-date stuff, and also some past type events, which is kind of cool. Then we got home run derby, where you can sit there and you can kind of practice your batting. You know, it's kind of a grueling, I guess you would say, tiered competition, which is kind of neat. We mentioned exhibition. There's also exhibition with live rosters, if you want to play it that way, where you can do a little bit of tweaking, customizing. There's your online action. There's a retro mode, which kind of plays, you know, really old school, very simplistic controls. It's got a fun little arcadey style to it. It's kind of neat. So you might find that one to be interesting. Custom practice. We got just a postseason, custom leagues, and there's online co-op, which is kind of a new one. So you could do some online co-op action, which is kind of cool. So you might find that to be kind of intriguing. So it covers, I would say, basically all of the modes that you would kind of expect within the game. There's not really anything wildly different there. You know, obviously the online co-op, as I mentioned, is a new addition. But like, you know, your Diamond Dynasty or all your other modes, very, very similar. So you're not really seeing wild adjustments or changes. So just keep that in mind. Past that, we do have a suite of customization options, from changing your player, their design, their clothing, who they are, their stats, all that kind of stuff, to also changing your teams or creating custom stadiums or downloading custom stadiums from people online. I think that's really cool. You get a wide range of options. But even past that, you know, it's got all the key stadiums in the league. It's also got like a bunch of historic stadiums. Like we're playing, you know, this is the Field of Dreams. So it's kind of a fun little, you know, kind of thing. So I thought that would be really, really interesting. So you can do, you know, your road to the show, where you're pushing your player, your player working through the league. You got your franchise to do running the team and whatnot, which is more traditional, I guess you would say. But even at this point, road to the show is pretty, like, you know, kind of hard baked in there. It's expected. And then you just got kind of quick seasonal stuff. You got your March to October, and you know, it's just it's got all the different modes you expect. Is there anything new or crazy with those selections? Not particularly, but I think it nails it, and it just gives you a wide range of different ways to play the game again, which is kind of cool. I would say the most effective change that you'll notice is, again, the cross-play and cross-progression. I think that is fantastic. It's great to have it here. It seems to all be working quite well. I was taking a look at this on the Series X and the PS5 version, so that's kind of neat. Great to have that option available. I think it's a really nice touch, and a continued push for the industry to become more open, right? That's the biggest thing, is the industry becoming a little bit more, you know, free to kind of play your games where you want them. And since this is like a first-party PlayStation game, that is particularly great as well, right? So the game does look quite visually good. You know, there are some like little edges that look a little jagged at times. Some of the crowd could be a little bit higher res, but I mean, I think the player models, they look great. Fabrics look really nice. For the most part, the grass and everything looks fantastic. Everything's shiny, like kind of reflective and whatnot within the environment. It's a very good simulation. Very, very well done. You get lots of control options. You get to customize your controls to make things easier going for you, a little bit more harder for you. You know, you do you. And I think we're going to switch up the stadium and the players just so you can get a little bit of a different visual perspective. So we've got a different match set up here. We're doing in the athletics, and we got two different teams going at it, just so, again, you can see a little bit of a different visual showcase, see a different like stadium, get an idea of things, you know, the ballpark and whatnot. And it really captures the, you know, aesthetics of the different ballparks, you know, all the different fans. There's tons of variation within them, which is nice. You know, the seats, the style, the weird little hilarious hijinks and stuff that go on. It is quite authentic to that experience when you actually go, I would assume, and watch these games, which is kind of nice. And in real life, that is, right? Or if you watch it from a presentation angle, and there's lots of different camera angles and options for customizing how the game kind of looks and feels and plays. Like, it's really hard to dive into to the degree of being like, oh, this is, this, because it's very straightforward, right? It is, if you're coming from last year, I've gone over what has been improved, I've gone over the changes. It's not like there's necessarily substantial gains this year, but it is improved. It has everything updated. It's that new release. If you're coming in for the first time, there's not a better baseball game out there. This one absolutely nails the league, the realism, the simulation, but it also has some arcade fun options that you can play different modes that I highlighted there. It's got those key moments as you make your way through the road, or the road to no, not the road to the March to October, whatever. You hit those key moments. It's got your own team kind of building with a franchise. It's got your individual player building where you do your road to the show stuff. It's got a wide range of different options. I don't know really what else they would even add at this point, because it seems like they've got a wide range of different choices and management options and customization and personalization and action and baseball play. Like, it really just nails things, I would say, for the most part. You really do get to tweak stuff as well, right? Like, are things going to be... Oh, wow, they actually got that. Are things going to be easier for you? Are they going to be harder for you? You get to adjust stuff. I think, it captures the sport well. It's got the little tiny details of, like, players' feet kind of making marks on the, on the grass and the little rock stuff there. It really, you can see all the little details. There's different weathering conditions. There's different times of day. You get to see the day kind of roll and stuff like that. You get full control of your players, less control depending on how skilled you are and the challenge you want. It gives you all these choices right off the bat. It would be nice if it remembered your choices from previous games. I had to pick everything again. I kind of like in the EA titles, it's sort of like, oh, these were your choices last time, and it's like, okay, I want to do that again. At least I didn't, have that option with this one. It was just kind of like picking from the beginning almost, so keep that in mind. You just get to pitch, bat, and play in a lot of different ways. I don't know, it gives you a lot of personalization to also tweak how you bat, how you pitch, how you interact with the game. We've gone over difficulty, we've gone over settings. It looks good. It delivers the sense of atmosphere of the different places. You get to play the full seasons, just the seasons. There's not really a whole lot else to mention. It's straightforward. It gets the job done. It's fun. It's engaging. If you like baseball, it's really quite cool. If you've never played baseball, it could be a way for you to maybe get into the game, understand it, learn the rules, get an idea of the different finesses of it and whatnot. If you want to play online, lots of online options. Want to play with pals, you get all those choices. I mean, the online co-op, I think, even goes further in helping with that. And it just has a little bit of everything, right? It's got your full baseball simulation experience. It's optimized for the next generation, which means it absolutely delivers on that quality that you're kind of expecting. It looks sharp, it looks clean, plays good, feels good, is exciting. I enjoy jumping in here and playing it. I've reviewed it for, this franchise for a number of years now. I've seen it go from, the PlayStation exclusive releases to now being available on the Xbox as well, which I think is fantastic. Xbox really didn't have much of a baseball option for a long time. It was nice to see the show kind of step in and really give that premium experience. I think, the first year was great. And I think the second year we're just getting further polish. It seems to all run perfectly well. I haven't had any issues across my different gameplay experiences. It's just been good action, good gameplay. I don't really have any complaints. I haven't seen anything that really stands out to me as being, any sort of negatives. It just, the biggest thing is just, it doesn't really wildly tweak things. It plays it very safe, and I think that's because of the expansion of new platform offerings, right? You got a release for the last gen Xbox, you got a release for the next gen Xboxes, you got a release for the last gen PlayStations, the next gen PlayStations, the Switch. It's just it's wildly crazy, all of the different kind of choices you make. Did I get a double out? Oh, that is just rough. Ooh, that kills you there, you know, that happens. But they've even got like all the player likenesses, they've got the different stadium likenesses. I'd love to hear what else people would really want to see from this franchise, because I don't have any other expectations for anything. You know, it's got your arcade action, it's got your simulation action, it's the show, it delivers, it's fun, it's baseball, it's the action that you're either, you know, passionate about, maybe you're not as passionate about it, maybe you're trying to learn. I think it's something for everybody. Offers a really good time, fun times, and great gameplay. So I'm just going to show off, I guess, more of it in action. And I think we actually will switch to another match as well, just so you can see another set of teams in action within the stadium. Because I do want you to get a good look of the different players and the different scenarios that are present here. But just enjoy some more regular gameplay, and I'll probably see you back, I would imagine, next year or on other platforms as well, as I look to cover more of MLB The Show 22 for this year.
All right, just about set to go. And today's starter, Adam Wainwright.
Well, he comes at hitters with a 5-pitch mix, so for him, it's always interesting to see how he utilizes those weapons. He may lean on 1 or 2 pitches depending on how things are going and how things are working, but if he can control 4 or even 5 of those offerings, look out, hitters. It's going to be a tough day. He's really going to be able to keep those guys off balance.
And there's a fly ball, deep right field, back there. And in one hops the wall. And nice work to hold him to a single. Got it back in fast. No outs. Runner at first. Starling Marte up to hit. And he deals. Swing and a miss, and he was fooled. Kicks and deals.
With 2 strikes, may see some movement over there at first base, try to stay out of a double play here.
Nimmo gets his lead at first with nobody out. On the ground, could be 2. Goldie toss to second. Plenty of time at first. That's a double play. 2 outs, base is empty. Francisco Lindor comes up to the plate. You talk about elite defensive players, especially in the middle of the diamond, and this guy is at the top of the list. Over to Goldie. That's the 3rd out. No score as we head to the bottom of the 1st. Bottom of the 1st. Now up for St. Louis, Tommy Edman.
Leading up
The pitch.
for the Cardinals, the second baseman.
Ball 1 there.
Edman.
Nimmo makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down. Now it's Goldschmidt up to the plate.
First baseman.
And a pitch.
Goldschmidt.
Just missed. Well, who would have thought Jacob deGrom as a college shortstop and then a 9th-round pick by the Mets was going to turn into this good of a pitcher? Back-to-back Cy Youngs in both 2018 and 2019. Next pitch is outside. Next one misses. 3-1.
Yeah, but just incredible. You look at that benchmark of 200 innings, comfortably over that in 2018 with 217, and the sub-2 ERA, just impressive at 1.70 to lead the league.
And a foul ball, he stays alive. Righty delivers. And it's fouled away. Escobar picks it up. And down on strikes. And there's 2 down.
Well, he should get some fist bumps when he gets back into the dugout, because even though he strikes out, he saw a lot of pitches and he battled. And this is a long haul where you're trying to get that pitch count up as early as possible. So gave the guys behind him an opportunity to see what's working for this pitcher or not. But I tell you what, it's a nice job right there.
And a foul ball, third base side.
Great swing and solid contact. Just a little too quick. He's got to stay back a little longer.
Swing and a miss, and that is that. Nothing doing there. Welcome back. Top of the second. Here's Pete Alonso. He's not going to get cheated up there.
No, he's not. He's looking to do damage with every swing he takes.
And the right-hander deals. And fouled off.